Before starting install, make sure the vehicle is supported securely on jack stands. Also, these spindles retain the use of the anti-sway bar. The factory offset wheels would not fit without the use of inch and a quarter wheel spacers. What's going on? Today we're going to be installing some spindle gussets with sway bar mounts. Now these go on your steering knuckle in your Toyota. It's the weak link in the Toyota, and if you're going with a bigger tire, and if you're going with bigger suspension, and you're gonna do some extreme off-roading, you're gonna need to either change this complete style or reinforcement, and that's what I'm gonna do with a total CHAOS spindle gusset. Pretty much you gotta take this out, weld that gusset on there, and put it back on. It is tedious. Stay tuned. So this comes with 2 of these brackets, 4 of these, and this. And you'll have to weld all this together. So first I'm going to remove my spacer. This is going to tend to move, so I'm going to stick a screwdriver right behind this caliper, the brake. This is 12 mil. It comes right off like that. You don't want to break this here. Then you want to take your ABS off. There's this piece right here you kind of pull up on. It's like a little tab in there, and it comes right off. Okay. So next, take this caliper off. We want the extension bar and an 18 mil. Whew. That is TIT. Oh, damn it. Whew. That is hard. I got some tie wraps here. So I'm securing my tie wrap just kind of on this bracket here. And you want to hold that tension so that you don't bust this line right here. Remove the last bolt and it should come right off. An 11/16. Gotta fix that. Before starting this project, I wish I would have engaged a four-wheel drive, because here I have to wedge something between this disc and the steering knuckle in order for me to unbolt the axle nut off. For those who do not have four-wheel drive, you can leave your caliper on temporarily and just wedge a screwdriver in between your disc through your caliper to remove this nut before getting to this point. With a 19 millimeter, Now here, I would recommend getting yourself a tie rod Pitman arm puller. Now this makes taking these tie rods out a breeze. I'm going to leave a link on the description below, but also if you do not want to buy these, you can go to your local auto shop and they would loan them out to you. Next, with a 19 millimeter, I'm going to remove my upper control arm. Remove the two 19 millimeter bolts that attach the lower ball joint cradle to the knuckle. So here, just support the knuckle in one arm as you use a dead blow hammer to knock the axle out of the hub assembly. At this point, the knuckle should be free from the vehicle. Remove it and set it on the bench. Here, remove the bearing housing and dust shield by unbolting the four 17 millimeter head hub bolts. Unfortunately, I did not have my 17 millimeter open end wrench, so I had to use adjustable wrenches. Honestly, whatever tool you have to make this work, just go ahead and do it. It's gonna work no matter what. One thing I want to say is just remember how you put this back, because a lot of people screw up right here. Go ahead and unbolt and remove the ABS sensor from the spindle. Here, just go ahead and remove the rear seal with a thin chisel or scraper. Replace if damaged. Four-wheel drive models only though. Next, you want to remove factory paint using a flat disc 60 grit. I'll leave a link in the description below. You need to do this where the gussets will contact and be welded. Now you want to mock up the gussets to the spindle to make sure sway bar mount holes are aligned before tacking into place. Grinding will be necessary on the lower portion of the gusset to get the holes to properly line up. Once the holes line up, you put a 12 millimeter bolt through the gusset body to prepare to be tacking into place. Now here, I'm just making sure that everything is lining up right before I start to grind. Now here, just for extra precaution, I just went ahead with my flap disc and started sanding all this that's going to be welded, as well as using acetone to clean it up. To tack the gusset parts in place, bolt the top plate to the bottom side of the upper ball joint area using a 9/16 or 14 millimeter bolt. I did not have this bolt, so I went ahead and used a lever clamp wrench, which worked pretty good for me. And due to the variances in the thickness of the upper ball joint area on the spindle, this vendor has supplied two different thickness top plates. You just need to test and fit both and use the correct thickness plate for your application. Put a 12 millimeter bolt through the side of the gusset body and sway bar hole to hold the gussets in place for welding, but only use this while tacking, because if you decide to weld with that 12 millimeter bolt on, it will ruin that hole. Now, to ensure the brake caliper mounting hole lines up, use pliers to bend the gusset back slightly as you tack it into place. For this scenario, we are using large channel locks. As you can see, I forgot to take that 12 millimeter bolt out and it was a mess. Guys, this is really not that difficult. You just have to start by welding the 10 gauge gusset pieces to each other and then weld the gusset to the factory spindle. MIG welding is preferred, but TIG can also be used. So what he did here was he welded this. He already had this welded down here and started going right around there. But once he welded this side, for some reason this popped, so we're gonna have to redo this again. So just keep in mind, be cognizant that this is so hard that it just wants to pop, and you gotta grab it with the pliers, tack weld it there so it stays in place. But
Yeah.
okay, so now don't forget, you gotta weld that little slit right there. Once you tack it on the other side, and you gotta weld that too. So we just got done. He charges about $180 an hour, but if you go through me, I give you a discount. We'll look you out. So come check him out. He's in Vancouver, Washington. If you're ever in the area and you need work done to your rig, your vehicle, he's not a welder. That's just his hobby.
Put it on the side for people like him.
Come through my page, get you a nice discount. Quality auto repair.
Got it.
So now you want to paint, or you can powder coat your spindle after it has cooled off. Just be sure to mask off the bearing area, all threaded hose and their mounting surfaces prior to coating. Now before you start putting these parts back together, just remember you're going to need to grease these up. I'm using a high temperature disc drum brake wheel bearing grease that I got from Amazon, or you can get it at your local auto shop. But go ahead and put some grease on. Make sure you do your rear seal and also that little gasket rubber piece. And just go ahead using your dead blow hammer, put that rear seal back together. So your brake caliper is going to be right here. So you want this way. This is how it's going to be on the driver's side. These you probably want to put a little bit of some Loctite. Go ahead and reinstall the dust shield and hub onto the spindle. You want to torque these bolts to 59 pounds. Once complete, reinstall the spindle hub onto the vehicle. But I didn't know how to get a torque wrench in there, so I just went ahead and tightened the dog nuts out of this thing. Also, this right here, you're gonna sometimes when you're trying to do this and put the threads in there, you might have to hit it with a dead blow hammer, kind of even it out. Before you install the steering knuckle, make sure that you go ahead and lube the center hub where the axle is going to go in. Okay, one important detail that I forgot to do is with the rotor off, strike the duct shield with the dead blow hammer where the shield contacts the rotor, and just repeat this step until the clearance is achieved and the rotor spins freely. If you forget this step, you will hear this rubbing. Go ahead and install your tie rod and just add the nut. Just leave it loose for now. So go ahead and install your front stabilizer and just leave the nut loose. Install your front axle hub nut and leave it loose. Go ahead and install your front disc. If you're like me and you got 1¼ inch spacers or whatever it is you have, I go ahead and lube it just because it's easier for me to remove when the time comes. So now I'm going to temporarily install these nuts on here just so that I can install my calipers so that I can torque my front axle hub nut at 173 pounds. With the caliper on the rig, I can stick a screwdriver through the caliper so I can tighten my front axle hub nut. Just go ahead and tighten these bolts just snug because you're going to go ahead and torque these. If the brake line and the ABS wire bracket don't line up with the mounting hole, a slight bend may be required. I'm using a dead blow hammer, but you can use a set of pliers to bend the bracket outward. Test fit until the mounting holes line up. So I installed this rotor brake, and I put a couple nuts here temporarily to hold that in, because I'm going to use this, stick my screwdriver in here, and then so I can go ahead and torque this. Go ahead and torque your front axle hub nut to 173 pounds. Torque your tie rod to 67 pounds with a 19 millimeter. 61 pounds. My upper control arm, I'm going to torque it at 81 pounds. Go ahead and torque your front lower ball joint attachment to 118 pounds. So here we are at the front stabilizer. You're going to want to torque this at 52 pounds with a 17 millimeter socket. Because of this mod, I now go off-roading with more confidence than previous. I'm not too concerned with my steering knuckle snapping for hitting tough trails. Before starting this job, I told myself it wasn't going to be easy, and there would be times where I'm going to want to throw in the towel, but I kept reminding myself that all the good things in life comes with hard work, and the only constructive material is positive action. If you would like to see me make more content, you can help me out by subscribing, and go ahead and hit the like button and share with others. Peace.